We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rooster and Doc Live with Waylon, the Red Rooster.
Yes.
And me, Matt, Doc Truman. I hope everybody's doing well out there tonight. Waylon, I haven't seen you in a while. We skipped last week. How are you?
I'm doing well. Had a good Thanksgiving, blessed, thankful, and I have missed being with you on the broadcast. I'm glad to be back with you tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be back in action. So when we got on here, we were talking about playing guitar. You were going to tell me a story, and I wanted to save it for the broadcast. So you and Mama were playing some. You guys were doing a little picking and grinning.
We were. A lot of you might know the song, the Eagles sung "Take It to the Limit" one more time, which if I tried to sing any of it, everybody would stop watching. It would just, the broadcast would end. So, but we tried to pick. Me and Mama got our guitars out. We were picking. We suck bad at playing guitar, but we try. And we we got through like the first half, and then we failed utterly. And we tried the second half. We got through that. And then finally, after like an hour and a half, we could actually play the whole song. So
nice.
I'm proud of us. Yeah.
All right. Go get your guitar and your mom, and let's hear it.
Okay. Now you also play guitar. Am I right there, Mr.
A little bit.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if you have any footage, but didn't you used to put a couple little pieces on Facebook?
Yeah, just some little clips. I wouldn't go too crazy.
Okay.
I had this app back in the day where you could double it up. Like you could record something and then record it. So I did like Wish You Were Here, so I could play the strumming part and then the solo, and then you could put it all together. It was kind of cool.
So you edited it to make you sound amazing, basically, is what you're saying.
No, I wish I could edit something to make my guitar playing sound amazing. I suck. I'm horrible I'm just a picker. I watch YouTube videos, pick up a tune, play it. I've learned a ton of chords from YouTube. What I struggle with are bar chords. I'm still learning bar chords. So.
I hate bar chords. Bar chords, they're my mortal enemy. And matter of fact, I've almost gave up to even try. So I learned the capo, right?
Yeah.
The capo, playing a couple of different keys.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I got a capo.
Yeah.
That's your buddy when you're picking a guitar.
Tonight, we was at church. When they just yell out the key or the chord, right? And then you just pick it up and start going. I'm the guy in the band, no joke. And you can watch it on Northridge Baptist. I'm the guy on the band, and you'll watch me. I have to look at everybody else's fingers to know where I'm at because I'm lost like a ball in high weeds. Some guys can play by ear. I don't know if that's you. I can barely play. I'm a handicap. I have to watch your fingers to know what key you're in. And then I pick it up. So
that's good. Yeah. I got a little video I'm going to play here real quick.
Okay.
I think everyone who's watching and those who aren't watching should watch this video tonight. It's
what we got.
Hey, what did we say last night about that schedule? Doesn't matter where. And you guys stepped up to the plate today, big time. Okay? That's the first time a Bengals team has gone unbeaten in November since 1982. But we all know what months matter the most, right? It's not November, it's not October, it's not September. We're playing our best ball right now. We're going to need that going in. Okay? Defense, everybody gets a game ball. Yes, sir. Their lead back, 17 carries for 38 yards. And I saw tip balls. I saw sacks. I saw Mike Hilton jumping in there for tip balls. It doesn't matter whose number was called. Everybody on that defense stepped up to the plate. That was awesome. Offense, everybody gets game ball. Last 8 weeks, they haven't given up over 100 yards rushing. You guys got over 100 yards rushing. Okay, we played the style of game we needed to play today. Okay, and I'm not leaving out special teams. So you guys get game balls too.
Very nice, man. They're now they weren't winning. Our viewer Tim Southwood, he's a Duke, and they utterly lost today. So congratulations, Duke.
He's a Duke fan. Nice. Hey, but he's obviously a Bengals fan. Hooday to Tim Southwood. Hooday to you, sir. We got the Bengals shirt.
Right.
And if I can, I don't know.
What are you doing?
There's Joe Burrow in the background. That was a gift to me on Super Bowl Sunday last year from Robert Collins.
Very nice.
So the Bengals won, and they played the Titans, and they played without 2 of their star players, Joe Mixon, who's the running back, and Jamar Chase, who I was hoping was coming back because I have him on my fantasy team, but he didn't come back. But anyway, Bengals win, and I had to put that out there. It was a good game.
Beautiful day. Frank Wiley mentioned that the Browns won as well. Okay.
Sorry.
You know.
Although they beat Tampa Bay.
That's good.
Tom Brady's Tampa Bay, which that's a feat in itself. Have you been paying attention to like world politics lately?
I watched the news a little bit of Fox. What you got? Anything big?
Yes.
Yeah.
China. The folks of China are protesting the CCP.
Yes.
The Communist Chinese Party. Yep. They're protesting them hardcore over the COVID lockdowns, that they're zero COVID.
Yeah. So
it's worldwide where people are starting to realize some of this stuff just isn't right. No. Let me play a clip from that. I think I picked. Did I pick? Yeah. I believe I picked one of the more liberal sources, CNN News.
Ew.
Dozens of protests erupted on university campuses and in cities across China on Saturday in an unprecedented show of defiance and anger against the government's restrictive zero COVID policy. Many shouted for leader Xi Jinping and the Communist Party to step down. A deadly fire at an apartment building in the far western region of Xinjiang appears to be fueling the most recent anger. This video emerged, which appeared to show lockdown measures delayed firefighters from reaching the victims. Now, in an op-ed published Sunday morning, Chinese state media calls the current COVID measures, quote, scientifically effective, saying the public should have full confidence in them. All right, let's get the latest from CNN's Beijing bureau chief, Stephen Zhang. Stephen, we've seen isolated protests before, but do these seem different in terms of the size and the scale?
That's right. This wave of protests really triggered by that deadly Xinjiang fire you just mentioned, but also how the authorities there handled the aftermath, because on one hand, they rejected claims that their COVID measures had anything to do with the firefighters' inability to reach the fire quickly. But on the other hand, after insisting for weeks and months that COVID situation in Xinjiang was so severe, lockdowns must be maintained, all of a sudden, they announced this miraculous victory in their campaign and also a phased reopening. So I think all of that really serving as the latest and loudest wake-up call to a lot of people in terms of how increasingly ineffective, unscientific, and not to mention potentially dangerous this zero COVID policy has become. And also, of course, all the absurdities surrounding its enforcement. That's why we have seen people across this country really trying to take the matter into their own hands. Not only you see people in Xinjiang taking to the streets, demanding their freedom, clashing with security forces, but also even here in Beijing, for example, residents are seeing tearing down metal barriers or fences set up by local officials to seal them off in their residences. But all of that really culminating Saturday night into Sunday morning with multiple vigils and protests, often spearheaded by young people on university campuses.
All right. I'm going to stop it there.
Zero COVID policy. What is
Yes.
that? They're just locking everybody down, and
They are locking just like they did here in 2020. They are locking everyone down. They're going a little further where they're locking buildings up where you cannot even get outside. You can't go out. There is no freedom of movement. You are stuck in your apartment for the duration. Those people are getting fed up with what is going on over there in China. They're done with it. And the news and CNN reports that it was the building, and that could have been part of it, but it's not all of it. These people are fed up with these COVID restrictions, and that goes around the world, I believe.
they're I think it was Fauci was supposed to retire or whatever. I don't know what he's doing, but
he
was saying about COVID's not done yet. And I missed the story. Did you catch any of that where he was COVID isn't done yet? I don't know if they're expecting another surge or trying to prep us for that. I don't know.
Sure. He is. So on one hand, they say, let's not make COVID about politics. On the other hand, they continue to blame Operation Warp Speed, the commander of Operation Warp Speed, Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States. They continue to blame him for everything. So they're saying, well, the Trump administration did that. It's spiraling out of control the way they're bringing this to everybody. COVID's still a thing. Worry about COVID. Now it's RSV and all these other. They're trying to scare you into compliance.
Yeah, they're not done, and they're with all these different viruses and the flus. And somewhere they said that they can even give you all the flu, the shingles, the COVID. They're like putting everything in a package bundle now. Did you see that? Where you can
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're
good night.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I don't know. Did you get the flu yet?
Not really. I've been under the weather, but I kind of slowed down on taking all my vitamins, and I just ramped it back up, and I wasn't feeling too good. I took my vitamins, and boom, I was like 100% today.
Yeah, I think regular sick again, which is kind of cool. Just regular.
Yeah. So I'm in the nursing field, right?
Right.
That's what I do, and I take care. I'm in the geriatric end of it, so I take care of the older folks, which I love. I love doing that. It's I would say it's the greatest job in the world, but that's just me. So I had a patient who was feeling a little under the weather with a cough and whatnot, and it was immediate. I need a COVID test. I need it. I said, no, you have a cough. Do you have any other symptoms that would go along with it? No. I need a I was like, I'll get you one to make you feel better. No problem. We can do that. But I'm going to tell you before I do this, I am 99.9% sure you don't have COVID. You have chest congestion, just normal old chest congestion. Guess who was right in that?
I believe, was you right, Matt?
I was right. Anyway.
Yes, Frank, I believe you are. I think that's allowed again, isn't it? Regular sick?
For some of us, it is. And I don't know. I'm on YouTube. We're on Facebook, which I should probably share this out. But you're allowed to be regular sick again.
Yeah, I think so.
It's unreal.
Oh, you'll be happy to know. I was out today, and you got people coughing. There's regular sickness out there. It's that time of year. So you're fighting the regular sickness. You're fighting a little bit of inflation with it, and you'll be happy to know that I paid like $30 for like a 2-foot tree this year. Do you remember the years that you could go?
Good night.
6-foot tree, like
yes,
a bushy 6-foot pine tree for $30. It was like 2 foot tall, or maybe a little bigger for $30. So that was nice. Kind of came back with that. So.
$40 for a 2-foot tree.
No, it was 30, but yeah, it was sad. They had them in the pot. Check this out. They had them in the pot, about 3 foot tall, in a planter for $78. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's definitely Trump's fault then, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that happened. That price hike started.
I'm going to go as far as to say that might be Reagan's fault too. But
I couldn't believe it. I mean, the prices are ridiculous. I don't even know how people are finishing their Christmas shopping. It's crazy.
Yeah, prices are insane. So I got to be in charge of Christmas this year.
Yeah.
So I'm buying all the stuff, and it's expensive.
Am I in that list, or
you want to be in that list? What do you want for Christmas?
Don't worry about it. So,
what do you want for Christmas?
I wasn't in your original list. I don't want to be in it now. It's okay.
Well, if we have if we start doing better shows, then we'll get more fans, and then we can have them send us stuff.
Absolutely.
All the big timers get that. They get fan art and all that. If there's any artists out there that want to draw something.
Look at that.
Hold on.
Oh.
Or show merch. Look at that. Frank Wiley said show merch. We could do that. Rooster and Doc. We can make a t-shirt.
I want one of those drawings where you got the real big head and a little body.
The caricatures or caricatures. Oh. Okay. Let's see. I got it all shared up so everybody can see it.
What you got?
Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else we can talk about. Here's one. Tucker Carlson. You like Tucker?
Love Tucker.
All right, let's play one.
I love his laugh. You ever watch him laugh?
He's like,
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, a day away from politics and mass media with people you love and who love you back. Really a spiritual spot treatment. That's the ideal. We ought to do it more than a couple times a year. But we are back, and now that we are an obvious observation, all prosperity in this country depends ultimately on energy. Our consumer economy runs on it. It takes energy to make things and bring them to your house. Our tech economy runs on energy too, a lot of it. How do you think they keep their server farms running? Energy is pretty much, in fact, the key to everything that Americans do for a living. It's the key to healthcare and agriculture and, yes, media and travel and construction, entertainment. Even finance, which is symbiotic with the real economy, depends in the end on energy because you can't lend money to businesses if they no longer exist. And if energy prices go up high enough, they don't exist. So given how central, very obviously central, energy is to everything that matters in America, it's hard to believe that the Biden administration would intentionally make energy much more expensive. Because we know for a fact, having seen it repeatedly through history, that high energy prices will crush our economy faster even than the COVID lockdowns did. People will become poor. Some of them will die. That's not a guess. It will happen. So given all that, it's unimaginable that anyone but our enemies would want to raise our energy prices to the point where our economy collapses. And yet that is exactly what the Biden administration has decided to do. And to do it, they're using twin instruments of climate policy and their war against Russia. The effect? In a nation with the largest recoverable oil reserves on planet Earth, many Americans can no longer afford fossil fuels. And once again, this is not an accident. It's not a natural cycle we're going through. Politicians and policymakers are doing it to us on purpose. Now that the midterm elections are over, the media can finally begin to cover the inevitable results of these policies. CNN, for example, just ran an article about Americans who are worried about freezing to death over the winter in America. One 63-year-old woman in Philadelphia called Charmaine Johnson said that she is torn between heating her home and buying food. And of course, she's choosing food because she has no choice. It's miserable, she said. It's like living in an igloo. Another man, a 67-year-old man called Tim Wisely, said he turns on his heat only when his teeth begin to chatter. You can't go food shopping and get oil. It's one or the other, he said. It's a horrible feeling. It's a feeling I wouldn't wish on anyone. And it's a feeling that Americans have not had in generations. These are American citizens living in a major American city that used to be considered first world, and they can't afford heat. And it's happening not just in Philadelphia, but everywhere. Average home heating prices went up 17% last year, and they're up another 18% this year. Again, not organic. This is the result of policies from the Biden administration and its allies, not just in the Congress, but in think tanks across Washington and in the entire American news media. This did not happen by accident. As Fox Business has reported, once winter arrived, the problem is going to get much worse.
We're riding around with oil for less, and they say that their customers are struggling to keep up with these skyrocketing costs.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. If you guys want to check that out, when this live's over, I'll post these clips over there.
It's going to be horrible. It's going up. What was that gas? 20% already? Is that what it said?
Yeah. Fuel's up. Not only heating fuel. I don't know. I've lived in a bunch of different places where I've lived in places with heating fuel where they come and they fill your tank up. My son lives where where his house is heated with natural gas. I think the last time he filled up was like $438. But now it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
people,
and you're talking about the Christmas trees, but not only that, Thanksgiving dinner was more expensive. Christmas is obviously going to be more expensive.
Everything is. I mean, literally everything is. The people that are paying $200-300 a month on gas and electric, what are they going to do when it gets up to $450-500? And they're barely now. It ain't good. But
no, I mean, now's the time to kind of just take stock of what's going on, and maybe squirrel away a couple bucks, pick up a couple more hours at work, and just try to do what you can. And then maybe next time when you go to vote, you'll vote a little different. Or,
right,
as I always say, run for office.
Yeah.
Waylon, I can see you as the next governor of the state of Ohio. Look at that. Or president of the United States.
No.
Mayor of Huber Heights, Waylon. We could get that done.
You need to move back to Huber, though, to do that, so we can
you live in Huber. You could be the next mayor of Huber Heights.
I don't know about that.
Anyway. All right. Let's see here. We got about 15 minutes left. Let me throw one more out there.
I did see I was watching a little bit of Levin before we got on tonight.
Mark Levin. That guy?
I love him. He's one of the smartest guys I've ever heard. I mean,
This just in. Frank Wiley says, Mayor Waylon. I love it. You hear him?
Okay.
Go ahead, Mark Levin.
Oh, he was talking to, and I forgot his name. He's could be the prime minister again of Israel.
He is the prime minister.
He
got voted. Yeah, he's voted back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love him too. And he was talking about like the nuclear arms that over the years they were stopping countries from getting them. And apparently, which I don't know enough to really get into it too much, but the Iran deal, I guess they're going to allow them to have possible nukes, which I don't know if they've already.
They're not allowing them to have nukes. They're allowing them to have nuclear power, which in turn will give you nuclear weapons.
Absolutely.
It makes zero sense.
But I watched him speak, and I love him. He's great. And him and Levin were going back and forth, and just to keep up with him and listen to him. But what the Biden policies are allowing to happen, possibly, it's freaky. I mean, why would you let Iran have anything nuclear? It blows my mind. So
it is. I think, there's all these little hot pockets around the world, more hot pockets around the world today than I can even think about. So we have China looking to invade Taiwan. A report just came out that Russia was going to attack Japan before they attacked Ukraine. That came up. You have Russia attacking Ukraine, an actual full-on war, which we'll talk about in a second. You have Iran and Israel. You have the war between Saudi Arabia and Yemen that nobody rarely talks about. You have just wars and rumors of wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be like that for the remainder. I don't want to get into a whole.
Go ahead.
Just they're looking for a so-called world peace. It ain't going to happen. I mean, not a real one that's going to last. It's always going to be wars and rumors of wars.
Sure.
Eventually, I'd like to get into a little biblical discussion, get some ministers on, some different perspectives, and see, because people, they do have an idea of how things are going to go, what countries are going to do what, and I like to hear different people with their different ideas. But we all pretty much agree that everybody wants power, and when you get power hungry, there's wars and there's rumors of wars, and somebody's going to get the power eventually. The question is who. America's had their power for a while, and not many nations last more than a few hundred years and that kind of power. So we'll see what happens, but I don't think we're as strong as we've been in times past, and I just see us getting weaker and weaker, to be honest with you. So
right,
I don't think it's looking good. Our military's not what it used to be. Our country, the people aren't what they used to be. I know this might sound rude, but over the years, if you just think back 20 or 30 years, people have changed so much. The wokeness, all this weird stuff that's happening, all these different ways to identify yourself. I mean, everything's getting real whacked out real quick. And everybody keeps saying, I want things to get back to normal. I think that you're looking for that, and you're going to continue to look for that, and it's never going to happen. I don't think things will ever go back the way they were. I think we're too far gone. But it could be a little pessimistic, but trying to be a realist, I don't think anything's going to go back like it used to be. Pre-COVID, I just don't think it's going to. What about you? You think it's going to go back to the old normal?
No, the new normal I think for all of us who are generally our age, that ended at 9/11, and so before I get into that, did you notice a difference of how people treated you and acted around you or anything when you lived in Tennessee versus how you are in Ohio?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
when I was in Texas, it's like night and day, man.
Yeah. No, down south, besides the weather obviously being better than
I think that has a lot, maybe not a majority to do with it, but a lot to do with things, because it's here in Ohio, it's gloomy a lot.
Yeah.
And people get depressed and grumpy and cranky, and they really don't know how to drive. Anyway.
No. Well, the down south in general, as a whole, people are nicer, more friendly. Every time not every time, but when I would come back home, I'd drive over the bridge go into Cincinnati, and I'd get the friendly one finger wave from somebody on a basis. It just, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm back home,
Yeah.
It is, but I love to always be a Ohioan, and I love a Buckeye, even though the Vols don't like that. They called me a worthless nut in Tennessee. It kind of hurt me.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Ohio. Well, I was born and raised in Huber Heights, Ohio, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I love my hometown. I moved out of it for a reason, many reasons, in fact. But, when I was in Texas, I missed Ohio. I missed family. I missed friends. I missed going to the old haunts, Waffle House, whatever. Bob Evans, Marion's Pizza, all these different things. So I came back, and then it's like, I don't know. It even makes me more grumpy, and I don't want to be a grumpy Gus.
No,
they
they
don't.
Waffle House is nationwide, right? Like in every state.
I don't know if it's every state, but I lived in the South Texas,
right?
And so San Antonio area, we didn't have a Waffle House within 100 miles of us.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it was awful. I had to go to IHOP. Can you imagine slumming it at IHOP? It's ridiculous.
There ain't nothing better being out at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, getting jacked up on some straight up black coffee at Walmart and watch all the freaks walking in the bars. It is a blast.
We should set up a cell phone. I have a tripod.
Yes.
Go to Waffle House and do a live at Waffle House and ordered some scattered, smothered, and chunked.
Oh,
do a live at Waffle House and just see what happens.
Get me an all-star breakfast with some grits, a little bit.
Waffle. Scattered, smothered, chunked.
Give me
Look out.
Little bacon slap. Oh my goodness. Slap my grandma. We'll do that. You want to do a live at Waffle House?
I am down.
We can do it.
I'm down. That would be awesome.
Do we need a cameraman? How would that work?
No, I'll set the phone up on a tripod or set it up on the like where the jukebox is.
Yeah.
Frank says yes. Well, Frank, you would have to join us then. Right.
Matter of fact, Frank can play the music. They got a great jukebox.
Oh man.
You can't play anything older than 90s. I want some 70s and 80s.
See, I'm a bit of a country boy.
Yeah. Country boy will survive.
That's right.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I was in Tennessee at the Waffle House, and they tore it down. And I was heartbroken because they were built, but they tore it down. Same spot, same place. And I thought to myself, where do 1 billion cockroaches go? You know what I mean? They tore it down. I was like, where'd they all go? But it's good. It's good. And I'm not joking. We were eating. Me and about 3 or 4 of my buddies were at the booth, and one of us was on the end, 2 and 2. And one of my buddies, he was the youngest guy of the group. We're all talking, acting a heathen, just acting crazy. And here comes this little guy just crawling up on the end of the table, right by his arm with the little antennas, just looking at him. It was, I mean, that right there, if you see a live cockroach at Waffle House, you know that it's some good cooking. It's been real good. That place has been around for a while. So
that's right.
Yeah, we're going to do.
We have to do it. I mean, we've already put it out there in the ether. It's going to happen.
Do we need a disclaimer? How does that work?
I don't know.
We could interview.
We could
interview.
Yeah.
At a Waffle House, half out, I would say, hey, what do you think about Biden? You know what I mean? Or so we could have great questions.
Or
I want to look in.
Why are you here at Waffle House at this time of day? I think that would be awesome.
Wow.
We are going to have, so you were talking about getting into the Bible. Next week, we're going to bring on a pastor. He's planting a church in San Antonio, Texas. Well, just outside of San Antonio. So we'll bring him on. We'll talk about God, Jesus. And
so you said he's Huber?
He's I think he went to church in Huber.
Okay.
He was a pastor in Huber Heights and then moved out to San Antonio.
Okay.
So
we got watching pastors talk, or message me or Matt or whatever, and we'll get you on too. I don't know how many are you just having one on, or does it matter how many you got?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just one for next week.
Okay.
He's got a lot of things coming up. I won't spoil it now. Tune in next week. He's got a bunch of things that he's doing. So it'll be a good podcast, a good live video.
Yeah, that'll work. And then we'll get into some other stuff. And if anybody wants to hear of any certain like when we get into the biblical teaching thing after next week.
Yeah.
Discussions. If you want to, like, if there's any certain topics you want to discuss, let Matt know or me or whatever. And I like to get into it because not many people talk about it much anymore. So open discussion. Of course, I'll be right and everybody else will be wrong, but I'll still listen. And will. But that.
All right. I love that though. No, I do tend to agree with you a lot on, and that's why I like watching the gospel message on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Let me throw something up real quick. It is that right there. The Red Rooster, Waylon Fortner. Watch the gospel message every Thursday at 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble.
That's right. And I actually do identify as a rooster. So, and it don't change.
So, in like your LinkedIn bio or Twitter, it says I rooster, red rooster, or rooster he.
He, him, and his is what it is right now. Yeah, he is.
All right. Let me play one more clip. We got 5 minutes here.
Okay.
One more clip, just real quick, just to give some folks something to go out on.
And we've seen just in the last few days reports, even in the New York Times, acknowledging that these Russian soldiers were laying face down, and it appears they were executed point blank. Is something changing here in terms of public sentiment or media, the way the media? What is it that's changed here? Why is it just undeniable now that this is happening? Is that why we're seeing these kinds of things finally being reported in the mainstream media here in the West?
It was always undeniable. I'm just here to straight up tell you, Bucha was a war crime. We know who killed them in Bucha. There is no question. Ukrainians have all but admitted it. When you have a government official come out and announce, stay in your homes, the cleansing operation is underway. When you have the security services say, we are carrying out a cleansing operation, but we're taking care of saboteurs and collaborators. In a videotape where the head Nazi, the boatsman, saying, shoot the people that don't have the right symbols on it. You put all that together, I could convict you in a court of law with that because it's beyond circumstantial. It's a direct acknowledgement that murder is taking place. But the West decided to ignore it, create the narrative that Russia committed the crime. Well, they tried to do that again when they captured Izium in September. The Ukrainian government went down there and started saying, oh, the Russians committing war crimes. The problem is their Nazi thugs are so brutal and so stupid that they're filming the executions of the Russian women and men as they dump their bodies in a ditch, and they're not even hiding it. So the Ukrainians had to shut up, and the West wouldn't even touch that story. What they did is they revisited Bucha. Oh, we're going to go back to Bucha. Bucha was a Ukrainian war crime. Ukraine is a living war crime. Everything about the Ukrainian government, everything about the way they function and they fight this war is a war crime.
All right. So I know we're kind of ending on a heavy note.
Yeah. That flips it on its head, don't it?
Yeah, let me get this off there. Yeah, I know we're kind of living on or leaving on a heavy note. That guy was Scott Ritter. He was a United States Marine Corps intelligence officer. He also worked with the United Nations as a weapons inspector. He actually quit inspecting weapons in Iraq, looking for weapons of mass destruction and protest. So he has a little bit of a lean to him, a political lean to him. However, if you look at different things, different videos, like this one, I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to show you what they just the thumbnail from the video.
Goodness,
it's heartbreaking. That you can look it up. So it's on Rumble. Russia Ukraine updates published yesterday, November 26, 2022. And I watched the video. I don't want anybody else. I'm not going to play the video.
Right.
Just because I don't. If you want to look for it, there it was. I give you where to look for it. But it's just a bunch of Ukrainians walking through looking at what appears, to be Russian soldiers executed. Now I get it. Russia invaded. War's hell. That's what's going to happen. People die in war. And it's chaos. War is just simply chaos. A lot of Americans who haven't experienced that don't understand that war is hell, literally. But there are bad things. There are atrocities that happen during war, and we have to be aware of that. We can't just side up with Ukraine and start funneling hundreds of billions of dollars to them to complete this sort of
and
stuff.
that's done. We fed what they want us to see, and they get to funnel the money through there. And I don't believe half of what I see anymore. So, but like,
it's hard.
I haven't seen that one, but I've seen others that sometimes you hit the button and you wish you wouldn't have. Bad.
That's an issue with the internet, I think.
Yeah.
In our mind, where we're curious, like, oh, what's that? Oh, wow! I wish I didn't see that guy get his head chopped off.
And that literally happened. Remember back years ago?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually played that, and
you don't want to see that sort of stuff. Yeah. That's evil, man.
They say it's pure evil. It's just godless. It's horrible, and you don't forget those images. You don't.
No, they're ingrained in your mind, and I feel bad for any kids that stumble upon that.
Yep.
It's just anyway. There's a lot of different stuff, and I know Russia's doing bad stuff, Ukraine's, but that's war. I don't want war. Not unless we need to go to war. And we don't need to go to war. We don't need to go to war with any of these folks unless they're threatening our security.
That's exactly right. Russia's corrupt. Ukraine's corrupt. When two corrupt people go to battle, that's what's going to happen. It's nothing but corruption and murder, and it's horrible. And
the people stuck in the middle, are the women, the children, the men who are trying to lead a godly life or a life worth living, and they get stuck in the middle. It's awful. Anyway,
that'll be a good podcast down the road, is trying to live a godly life in a godless society, and that's what we're headed toward. And it's getting tough. It really is.
Let's leave it there, Rooster. Let's leave it there, and we'll bring it back when we get the pastor on next week.
What was his name again?
I'm going to save his name for next week because I want folks to join in.
Okay.
But I'll save it for next week.
Sunday night, 9:45.
Sunday night, 9:45. Be here or be nowhere.
All right. Sounds good. God bless you. Appreciate you, Matt.
God bless you. And thanks to everybody for watching tonight, and those folks who are going to watch later. I appreciate it. And we'll see y'all next Sunday.